top 3 in each heat will advance, and then the next 4 fastest times. In lane 3, we find Kenny Selman.
The 6th fastest American this year. He was the 2018 U.S. champion. The last time he was at the Olympic trials, he was eliminated in the semifinal round 5 years ago.
William Spencer on the inside of Kenny Selman. As you see the full field there, Chauhan, Downing, Bailey. Top 3 is where you want. Here is Quincy Downing.
An All-American while at LSU, a big part of their 4x4 success, a part of 2 championship teams. He was just off the Olympic team in 2016 where he finished in that dreaded 4th spot, so he'll want to do at least one better at these trials.
Here's Livingston on the outside, 2nd at the NCAA Championships, which was a very fast race, just coming off of his junior season at Oklahoma.
Between Livingston and Dowling, Paramveer Chauhan in 7. First heat of the men's 400 hurdles.
That's Quincy Downing. He's in lane 6. Very aggressive through the first 100, and he has a nice lead down the back stretch.
Downing in that white top, blue bottoms. Clearly out in front now. But out wide, Isaiah Livingston trying to go with him.
And Quincy Downing looking like he's working really hard. Usually in the first round, you don't want to look like you're under so much stress in the first part of the race. He hasn't been able to get comfortable. Not surprised that he went down there at hurdle 8.
And that opens it wide up, Sonia, for Kenny Selman and also Isaiah Livingston. Top 3 go through, and it's looking very tight for that. But what a shame for Quincy Downing.
So that's 2 Olympic trials in a row for Quincy Downing, where things just didn't go to plan, but they went horribly wrong here. Wow. So here's another look at the fall sun.
He just never looked comfortable to me. When I saw his face on the backstretch, he already looked labored, and you still see it on his face there, and he actually clips the inside hurdle.
Oh, wow. So it's likely he'd have been disqualified anyway, because the minute you touch somebody else's hurdle in this event, chances are you're going to be thrown outside. Yeah, he actually hits the hurdle to his inside, which of course is nothing for Bailey. He wouldn't be penalized for that. But Quincy Downing was probably going to be out anyway. And look at the guy on the outside, Livingston, 6 feet 7 inches tall. You think he's tailor-made for this event? You think of the world record holder, Kevin Young, and how tall he is. But Selman automatically through to the semi-final round along with Livingston.
So elation for Kenny Selman, and Quincy Downing can't believe it. So top 3 go through, and that 3rd is William Spencer. It was a really good run. Quite tight there for 3rd between Aldrich Bailey and William Spencer. But Spencer gets that automatic qualification with Livingston and Selman. They're through to the semi-finals, and that's tomorrow. Paul?
Thanks very much, Lee. Let's get caught up on field events, this time qualifying in the men's discus. They have 2 flights. First flight is now complete. Reggie Jaggers, who was the U.S. champion back in 2018 out of Cleveland, Ohio, and Kent State. Rather rare. He's a left-handed thrower, but among the best on the U.S. contingent. He has the best throw so far, with 12 additional men coming up in flight 2 in just a moment. But we're all waiting for that women's shot put final to get underway. 3-time U.S. champion Chase Ely among the favorites. The throwing begins in just a few minutes, Lee.
Continuing with men's 400 hurdles. Thanks for that update, Paul. And in this next heat is an athlete who featured at the World Championships in Doha 2 years ago, and there's been so much talk about seeing him run in Tokyo. Could he win the gold medal? Could he eclipse Karsten Warholm? That athlete is Rai Benjamin.
Mount Vernon, New York. But he has been on a tear for the last 2 years, equaling Edwin Moses' personal best at first and then getting under 47 seconds himself. one of the top 3 men in the event ever.
And Addo, you and Sonia always said there's no replacement, there's no substitute for good genetics. This guy comes from some good genetic stock because his father, Winston, played world-level, world-class cricket for the West Indies. The West Indies cricket team in the 1980s and 1990s, if you were a member of this illustrious group, it's like playing for the New York Yankees. His dad, Winston, was a medium-pace bowler and was very successful. And I know that you know, growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, just what a legendary group for the best part of 2-3 decades the West Indies were.
Yeah, if you go to Antigua and say Benjamin, they're like, oh, Rye's dad. Everywhere else, he may be the son. But when you get to Antigua, they remember Mr. Benjamin Sr. It's one of the guys that we think is going to be on the podium in Tokyo. He just has to get through these rounds and then the Tokyo rounds.
Khalifa Rossa is in lane 5 on the inside of Rai Benjamin. David Kenziera way out wide in 8. Colin Harden there, Jordan Allen, etc. So, same rules apply. Top 3 go through in that automatic qualifying. At what kind of a speed, what kind of a race will Rai Benjamin run?
Well, Rai Benjamin is so dangerous, and what makes him so special is he can run sub 45 in the 400 and low under 20 seconds at 200 meters. No other man in the field can do that. He comes in with over a second cushion in the Olympic trials.
And he's already seen his very good friend and training partner, Michael Norman, win the 400 and book his spot in Tokyo. He will likely join Michael Norman on that 4x4. He anchored the U.S. 4x4 to gold at the last World Championships.
You won't meet a guy that's more confident and poised and humble than Rai Benjamin.
Benjamin ran a 47.13 earlier this year at the USATF Golden Games. What's on the clock tonight?
Wow, Rai Benjamin, who usually takes about 13 strides to the hurdle, and we rarely see him misstepping or stutter stepping before the hurdles, but he's absolutely doing that now. But many times, because they're not going to be running as fast as they will in the first rounds, sometimes they'll pull back, and maybe he's struggling with that a little bit in these first rounds, but he will have nothing to worry about. I guarantee you he'll easily make it through this first round.
Yeah, when you have as much speed as Rai Benjamin has, you have to hold back a little bit because it's an early round. But he's figured everything out now. One more hurdle to go, and the guy with the sub-20 speed is in control.
Khalifa Rossa on his inside, David Kenziera on the outside. Rai Benjamin, it's a comfortable, very comfortable 49.13 victory to go through to the semi-finals in the men's 400 hurdles.
I'll tell you, when you come to the Olympic trials and you go through the first round, this is supposed to feel good. And you saw he turned around right away and was like, what was that? You know, he expected to come out here and dominate through the first 200, and he didn't do that.
No, and here's the stutter step that you talked about. He had a little trouble, not with 1, but more so with 2. Yep, that was a little stutter there. But look, this guy is so experienced at this point that nothing that's going to happen in a 400-meter hurdle race, and certainly not a first round, is going to perturb him too much. So he recovered and got back on track and won his heat. Nice run by Rosser. He's a Division II star from Cal State LA. He would end up in 3rd with one of the 3 automatic qualifying spots.
There's confirmation of those results. 49.12 the end time for Rai Benjamin. He goes through to the semis, Lewis, with David Kenziera and Khalifa Rossa.
He is there, but a quick question, Rai, about some stutter steps we saw on the 2nd and 3rd hurdle. What's going on there?
Honestly, I was a little too slow, so I'm not used to running like that this round, so that's what kind of threw my pattern off. So that's why you guys saw those stutter steps in there, but come back tomorrow and fix them.
Okay, we'll look for you then. Thank you.
As Sonia said, Lee, when you're that fast, it takes effort to back off in the early rounds.
not used to running that slow, says Rai Benjamin. We'll see him in the semis tomorrow. For a very warm triple-digit-like weekend. And this is Heat 3 of the men's 400-meter hurdles, and this is Sean Burrell.
He's coming off his freshman year at LSU, where he won the 2021 NCAA championship. And listen to this, Lee. He almost won 4 events at the Junior Olympics, none of them the 400-meter hurdles. He debuted in this event in April and is now the NCAA champion, someone we really want to look out for in this event.
And we get to see him run here at Tracktown, USA, Eugene, Oregon, along with Drake Schneider, Quincy Hall, Caleb Dean, Joshua Smith, TJ Holmes, and Amir Latin. Here's Amir, way out in lane 8.
He made the last U.S. team that went to the World Championships, got as far as the semifinal round in Doha. But yeah, I'm excited to see young Mr. Burrell.
Want to play a guessing game? What's the average age of this field in this heat?
22.
Good man. You are good with math.
Mess with me with numbers. Burrell set a world junior record to win the NCAA title, 47.85. Only Rai Benjamin has run faster in this entire trials field. So they've been called up from the blocks.
Amir Latin raised his hand, so maybe something doesn't feel right, and athletes are allowed to do that. So we'll reset this heat. Also in this heat in lane 7 is TJ Holmes, who has been on 2 world championship teams, went to Baylor University and then transferred to the University of Florida, and now coaches himself. Talk about a young man that is determined and disciplined. And he's a gamer. Whenever he's at these big competitions, you can't count him out, and he'll want to make his first Olympic team.
And this is such a technical event that he has to have a lot of video to film himself at practice. I can't recall anybody in this event coaching themselves. That's
ironically, Otto, he's a
ambitious.
videographer, photographer, so he
there
has
it
2
is.
skill sets to be able to do this.
He's got it covered.
There it is. But yeah, I want to see the NCAA champion as well. See how much he has left after that phenomenal 47.85 world junior record and personal best. 6, 7, and 8 are the featured athletes in this race. Burrell, Holmes, and Latin.
Going for the top 3 in the 3rd heat of the men's 400 hurdles. Who gets the best start? Pretty even amongst those top 3.
That's right, and TJ Holmes actually out really well. I loved how he kept his head down and really had a good drive phase. You rarely see that in this event.
And out goes, I think that may have been Quincy Hall.
Yeah, Quincy Hall with the headband is out, but on the outside, Holmes and Latin have kind of separated. Burrell, Smith, and Dean on the inside have some work to do.
But TJ Holmes, and
the
down
NCAA
goes
champion's
Burrell.
out. Oh, man.
Burrell goes down hard. The second fall in these 400-meter hurdle heats for men that we have seen in those outside lanes. TJ Holmes, Amir Latin. Amir Latin gets the win over Holmes.
And it's that hurdle 8 again. Wow. I thought this guy could have made the team. Remember, only one American has run faster than him in these entire trials. But the youngster will be back. Only 19 years of age. I think he has a tremendous future at LSU and as a pro. And there's Quincy Hall, who pulled up early in the race. He was in lane 3. And unfortunately, his Olympic trials are over. Amir Latin wins the heat with Holmes and Dean close behind.
Watch Quincy Hall here. Second from the right.
Yeah, so you could see him immediately grabbing at that right leg, and he goes to the track immediately. And then Burrell, hurdle 8 again, son.
And he never looked comfortable to me either, and so he had to start to press at this point. And you can see him still wanting to try to make an attempt. And it's so disappointing because the one thing, Lee, that you always feel the moment you have disappointment at trials or the Olympics, I have to wait 4 more years for this opportunity again.
Well, the good news is he only has to wait 3 more years.
That's right.
But that will be small consolation to the pending under-20 world record holder from LSU.
Caleb Dean in red was the third place getter to also go through. So Amir Latin, the athlete who actually put his hand up prior to the start to say, I'm not quite comfortable, we need to go again. He wins. For Quincy Hall, it ends in extreme pain. And so too for Sean Burrell. What could have been escapes him here at Haywood Field. Amir Latin, TJ Holmes, Caleb Dean. They go through. 3 down, 1 to go as far as the men's 400 hurdles. The final heat coming up. Lee Diffie, Addo Bolden, Sonia Richards-Ross with you. Lewis Johnson talking to the athletes. Kara Goucher is here because we've got some men's 5,000 heats coming up, and then the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase. All covering everything on the field. Here we go. This is Cameron Samuel.
We've already seen 3 collegians qualify automatically to the semifinal round. The Pac-12 champion Cameron Samuel trying to be the 4th. He was 3rd at the NCAA championships.
A big cheer just went up for lane 6, Jonathan Harvey. He's coming off his senior season right here at the University of Oregon.
There's Harvey, 2nd at Pac-12s, behind Cameron Samuel.
And when I talked to Bershawn Jackson, world champion at this event, he said, look out for this guy. D2 champion at 400-meter hurdles. He says he is special.
The semi-final fields will be set at the conclusion of this heat in the men's 400 meters hurdles.
There's not a lot of Division II athletes at this meet, but on the left of your picture, Trevor Bassett is one.
And in lane 6, Jonathan Harvey, we've been seeing a lot of athletes struggling. He had a really difficult one over the first hurdle, has recovered, but it seems like they're really having a tough time adjusting to changing their steps here in the first couple hurdles.
A lot of these collegiates, Lee, they just look tired to me. Just, a week after their NCAA championship.
It's been a big season, hasn't it? However, look at this. It's Colton Yardley doing well. Jonathan Harvey. Yardley got out of shape there. And then on the extreme inside, Cameron Samuel. It's Samuel and Jonathan Harvey and storming home Bassett. That was close because then the University of Texas student Charles Brockman was in there also. That was tight for that 3rd and final spot.
And you heard the crowd come alive when Jonathan Harvey appeared to be giving up his auto-qualifying spot. He heard them and he responded, but Samuel gets to the line first. Harvey of Oregon. So 2 collegians will join the others in the semifinal round. In fact, 3, because you saw Bassett as well.
Not having the best start, able to really pull it together. And like Otto said, here in the crowd, Harvey said, oh, I got to be in that automatic qualifying spot. And all of these athletes knowing how important it is to really hustle to the finish line to be in that top qualifying automatic spot. 4 men for 3 spots there, and Bassett will have to wait on time.
And based on the speed of that heat, I think those guys who were close should have got in, like Trevor Bassett. Obviously, Charles Brockman got that 3rd and key position there after Cameron Samuel and Jonathan Harvey. Here are some of the key qualifiers for the semi-finals, and the semi-finals are tomorrow in the men's 400-meter hurdles. So that's it for the shorter distances. We step it up. Men's 5,000-meter heats coming up, followed by the final of the